Hi everybody, welcome to part 2 of the Magroom's conversation with Larry Hankin. Here Larry answers a few more of Mark's dopey questions, talks to Gerard about 2 new books he's written, and discusses the finer points of acting. Welcome to the f***ing Magroom, Larry Hankin.
All around the world you can hear them. Hey, hey, hey! Talking about news and kind of funny stuff. Hey, hey, hey! Magroom, Magroom, the Magroom, the Magroom.
I'm starting to like this program already.
All right, I like it. All right.
I came on, I didn't know, but yeah, this is going well.
I like it.
Okay. All right. You lived in San Francisco in the 1960s.
Yeah.
You performed with a comedy troupe called The Committee.
Yeah.
You rented out your theater to contemporaries like the Grateful Dead, Jefferson Airplane, Timothy Leary, Frank Zappa, Lenny Bruce, Allen Ginsberg, Neil Cassidy. Which of your friends were the worst to clean up after?
Friends and those stars, famous people, rented the Monday night thing. I rented the Monday night. I think it was me, probably, that was the worst.
What did you leave behind?
Candy wrappers, you know.
I got the impression that you guys were the ones that owned like the or maybe rented the space, but then you subletted it out to the Dead and Timothy Leary, and I just figured those shows were possible.
And they always had nice audiences, you know, packed houses, and great shows and stuff like that. Me and Scott Beach and I think Gary Goodrow, who's also in the company, said, "Hey man, I want to do a show on my own on Monday night, you know, like Timothy Leary and Frank Zappa."
What would
so
Timothy
I
Leary
rented
do?
it out. What?
And then you just do like a one-man show for...
I did a one-man show. I was a stand-up comedian before I joined Second City and then the Committee. So I just did my act that I had gotten funnier while I was working with Second City in Chicago and with the Committee in San Francisco. So I just wrote some new stuff for my stand-up act. I had about an hour.
Were you good?
Stuff. I fucking killed it. Are you kidding?
Really?
But I didn't have enough money at the time. I wasn't ready to buy a Morgan yet.
Okay.
So I couldn't pay for the rental because I had to pay. I mean, I said, "Hey man, I work here. Come on, what are you kidding? You're gonna charge me money?" I mean, the director owned the theater or rented.
Right.
You know, I mean, he was the big macher there, the big kahuna, and so. He said, "Well, okay, it costs, I don't know, to rent a theater Monday night because we can rent it to anybody. We got to make money, you know."
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I said, "Yeah, but I work. I'm in the company. You know, I'm one of the funny guys. You got to give it to me for free." So he said, "No,
Didn't
you
work
gotta
that way.
pay just like everybody else." Yeah, it doesn't work that way, Larry. Life isn't like that. Just because you're funny, you don't get free stuff. Next question.
Next
All right,
question.
Mark, one more, and then we'll move on to the
Let's see.
To the really important stuff.
water.
All right. Which one should I do? Your Breaking Bad character, Old Joe.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay, so he was like he was kind of a junkyard genius. He helped Walt and Jesse elude the police. He lent them a device for scrambling computers.
Yes.
Did you learn anything about the Constitution, magnets, or crystal meth from your work on the show?
No.
Okay.
Next question.
Yeah, we can do one more.
Another
then.
one? All right.
That was because I did a meth dealer in another show, so I had learned everything
You already
I wanted to
knew
know
your
about
meth.
meth.
I see.
Did you see what I'm wearing?
Oh wow, man, you got one.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's one of my favorites too.
Yeah,
That is so cool.
I have
Too
one of
bad you
Larry's.
people on radio can't see what I just saw.
Yeah.
I like
It's
the
a jock strap.
Nice. Mark, you protected yourself well.
Larry said.
But
Larry
I
has t-shirts.
designed. Well, it's
Larry-
a T-shirt. It's a T-shirt that I sell on my website.
Yeah.
So reallarryhankin.com. Yeah. Now, if you got that's fairly modest price. I think it's like $13 to $18, whatever it is.
Absolutely. Yep.
But if you want to buy a wall, see, those are paintings. See, my back wall here, I have it at 4 feet by 5 feet.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a couple of them put onto T-shirts. So the T-shirts are anywhere between $13 and $18. I don't know. You have to go to.
There's one on there that Jared. There's one on there that Jared would like. I should buy him. It's
Yeah.
Are you a big the baseball guy? You have a baseball pin.
Oh yeah, right.
It's a good one.
So, but if you buy a wall painting, 4 by 5 feet, that's like $500.
Would you rather live in a house filled with mannequins dressed as clowns or a house filled with porcelain dolls?
Wow, that's a good question. Well, I would probably say the clowns, but only for a month, and then after that, I would just lose my mind.
Yeah. I think either of them are pretty creepy.
Yeah, that's the porcelain dolls would
I'd
do it
break some.
faster.
I'd break them all the time, and it'd be annoying to have to clean.
Oh well, yeah, but that would be good. So yeah, I mean, if I chose the clowns, I know it would drive me nuts.
Yeah.
But I don't know what would happen with the porcelain thing. So I'd have to go with the clowns. But man, I'd go nuts.
I like how you're like the first guest, I think, who ever said that was a good, like something I said was a good question.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd ever speak to me now.
Nice.
For that, yeah.
Well, I will. I appreciate it.
Okay, cool. Okay.
All right. Mark's sister on, and we talked about secrets, and she had to reveal that she pooped her pants in a Zoom meeting that she was leading, and she had to stay in the meeting for an hour with her pooped pants, and he was not happy that she revealed it.
This came up in my lifetime. In
Okay,
show
all right.
business. This
Right.
came up.
Now we're talking.
Okay, now we're talking. John Brent. Now it's not as weird as that, but it's exactly the same kind of thing. John Brent was in my company in the committee. It was one of the actors. He was a great poet and a very funny man. He's passed away, but he would be so funny that he didn't have to do anything when he came out on stage. He would be in character, like it was a 3-character scene. Now it's all improv, right? So you take suggestions from the audience. So it'd say, a bus driver and a nurse. Okay, so boy and girl would get on the stage, man and woman would get on the stage, and then you'd have maybe passengers get on, other actors would come on the stage and sit on chairs, be on the bus. So he would come on and he would be in character. And let's not say it was a bus because he likes to stand. So he wouldn't come on stage. So it would be a room, a doctor's office and a patient. So you have a doctor and a patient. Okay, and then he comes on stage and maybe the doctor would, and he doesn't say anything. He just he comes in and stands on stage. If you ask him a question, he'll say, hi. And or if you ask him a question, he'll say, who are you? He says, I'm his cousin, the patient. So there's a reason for him to be on stage, and he wouldn't break the reality.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't say anything. He would just stand there, and he would hold his hands together in front of his body, so completely relaxed. And I said to him one day, whenever you would ask him something, or if he would say something to add something to the scene, it would be hysterically funny. I mean, he wouldn't just go out there just to be on stage.
Sure.
He would add something, and it would be really funny. So you wouldn't mind if John came into your scene. He would be funny. Okay. So he's standing there, and afterwards I said, John, you come out on the stage. I know you're funny. You say these funny things. But what do you have in mind? I mean, you just stand there, like, what? You just stand there. You don't do anything. What are you thinking? What is in your head when you come out? So he said, I have 3 things that I come out on stage every time with. I go, whoa, okay. Well, yeah, he's actually going to tell me. What is it? And he goes, well, first of all, he's standing in front of me, and he takes that position. He holds his hands relaxed in front of him, and he says, and then he turns a little sideways to the left, just a little side. He moves 1 foot back, so he's now, sideways a little. And he says, "This is my stage right position." then he puts his feet together, and then he moves his right foot, back. And he says, "This is my stage left position." I said, "What's the third thing?" He said, "Well, before I come on stage, no matter what the scene is, before I come on stage." Now, it was a dinner theater. So the green room was really in the kitchen. It was part of the kitchen. So we would wait at a table that they cleared in the kitchen. That's where we sat until we had to go on stage. But it was the kitchen, Okay.
Yeah.
So he says, "So before I come on stage, I go into the refrigerator and I take a handful of, ready-made salad where they chop up the lettuce and they just put it in a bowl. I take a handful of lettuce and I put it in my underwear. I stuff it in my underwear. And I come out and I either stand stage left or stage right." And I said, "Well, what the f*** is that, man?"
Yeah.
And he says, "Well, I come out on stage and I'm standing there, stage left. Now the audience knows, they don't know what's going on, but they know there's something different about this guy." And so I get all the attention. That's it.
Because he had lettuce in. All right.
That's it.
All right.
That's it. And he said it to me with a straight face, and I said, "Okay, thanks."
Yeah.
And I've always remembered that.
Did you do it?
So you have lettuce
No,
on
I
your
never
hands
did it
right
because
now,
it's
or-
cold. You try it, it's cold.
Try, yeah, you got
Maybe
it.
it'll
And it
work.
just disturbs me.
Who knows?
So, but it's true. Now, so that's what she pooped in her pants, So that's why I want to watch the show, because obviously she's got something going on and we don't know what it is.
No.
But she knows she's got poop in her
PTSD.
pants and she's sitting on it and she's got to stay there. That's got to change your entire physical attitude.
Yeah.
It's
An hour.
got to.
Yeah.
Even your answers, they're shorter.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Or, you're listening a little different. Or, sometimes you see okay,
I'd say you wouldn't be listening at all.
for those, well, whatever, but for those who are not watching this, I just saw Gerard Sisk move a little in his chair. He just moved a little.
Now,
And that
I'm
moved.
settling
Now, if he had
the
poop in his,
lettuce and pants.
if he just pooped in his pants, that would be a different kind of move. Now, if you go to act, I've never gone to acting school, but I've talked to actors, and they say you have to come on with something in mind. You have to. There's called a backstory or an intent. Well, that's what he's talking about, really. But he just went to the ends of the earth to come up with a valid intent that would just let him stand there. And yet the audience would go to him every time. He said, "Nobody's watching the people talking. They're watching me."
I think next week we try it, Mark. We put lettuce in
I'm
your
seriously
pants.
going to put
Put
something
poop in your pants. It doesn't
No,
matter.
something in my
Either way.
next episode for
Right.
sure. Yeah.
All right, that's awesome.
But that's a true story. I mean, he really
that's
told me
awesome.
that. It's just great.
Have you ever told that on an interview before? Is that a new?
I've never
All
mentioned
right,
it.
we're
Never
doing
came
it.
up.
To finish up, you said you have your book that's out already. You mentioned it on the show already. The loophole.
The loopholes dossier.
Yeah, what's that about?
Well, it's a lot of short stories, but they're really great. For the first, there's 8 short modern fables that I wrote that everybody would like. They're fables. They have a moral.
Okay.
And the great thing about them, the twist that I put on them, is they're about one guy called Sometimes Jones, and he was 15 years old. He ran away because he didn't get along with his father, and so that's and what he did. And he was a savant pickpocket. The kid was the best pickpocket ever, so the first fable is about him going to San Francisco and his fame as a pickpocket and what that did.
Were you a pickpocket?
Okay. I wanted to be, but it never turned out. I wasn't good. I mean, if you're bad the first time, it's just horrible. You just
Okay.
get caught, and
Okay.
it's terrible. So the first fable is about him as a pickpocket and how that influenced him growing up to be about 16 or 17. And then the rest of them, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, are different stages of the same guy's life. There's one fable about from when he was 18, and then when he was 25, and then 30, and then 37, and then 45 when he becomes a Zen priest, and what that and how that worked out. Then the next story is a satire of the biography of a politician who runs for president, gets picked for president, runs for president, wins for president, gets impeached for president, spends some time not being president, and then is resurrected and rises like a phoenix. And that's the second. And the trope of that, the trick of that is, it's the FBI dossier. That's why it's called the Loopholes dossier.
Okay.
He is President Louis Loopholes, and the FBI dossier is called the Loopholes dossier.
Interesting.
And what it is it's the dossier. Well, Trump has part of it was in those boxes.
Sure.
Part of them were in those boxes that are marked top secret. Well, what top secret, I reveal what they are. And they're the Loopholes dossier.
You don't want to say, I get it, but it's really, you don't have to say it. We know,
but it's really great. And it's done in FBI terms, like, September 7th, he meeting in the Oval Office with Dr. So-and-so, and then it reports.
So it's like a dossier.
It's like a dossier. So they have, in other words, wherever he goes, they have either a microphone or a video camera.
Okay.
So it's secret. So and that is, so that's his arc of being picked to run for president to his resurrection as
rise.
Like a bird of paradise or whatever. Okay, so that's the second section. And the third section is, I think, what we started out with, which is I used to, and this part is true, that when I lived in New York and I worked in Greenwich Village, in coffee houses and in bars and stuff, when I would walk the streets, because I lived there too, there would be a lot of homeless people, as there still are, and even more. But a lot of them, and this is weird, because they were in different parts of New York City, they would be writing in these school books with the crackling covers, the black and white crackle covers.
Yes, yep.
The old school book. Okay. They all had those. Yeah. In other words, all the homeless people didn't. But the ones who were writing had these crackle notebooks, some of them very old, and they would be writing in them. And every once in a while, I'd stop and I'd say, hey, can I read some of that? And none of them ever did. They would and they would clutch it to them, and then they would they would talk to me like I was very rude that I would ask that. No. So, and I always wondered what they were writing.
Tell ya.
So when I was writing this book and I needed one more story, I thought, I'm going to write the book that these guys were writing, and I'm going to invent a character. His name was Barnum Justice. He was a homeless guy. He was about 70, and he had this crackle notebook, and I wrote Barnum Justice's notebook with the knowledge that Barnum Justice, and they all probably did, had several of these. In other words, they just fill it up and get another one. So Barnum had 45 notebooks. Wow. And he left them when he died. He died on the beach.
Concrete walkway.
Yeah, and what?
A concrete walkway.
On the concrete boardwalk.
The concrete walk.
Yeah.
Would have been
he died on the beach, and he left the 45 notebooks, which is all he had in his knapsack and his sleeping bag, to his girlfriend, who was also kind of homeless. So left it to her with a note, because I was his friend. This is all the trick of the thing.
Yeah.
Because I was his buddy, so he left the last 3 of his notebooks, 48, 49, and 50 notebooks. he left to me. And I hand wrote or hand typed out his last 3 notebooks, and that was the last section of the book.
Oh, cool.
It's the last notebooks, or the homeless notebooks of Barnum Justice. And that's the section. And it's just what he wrote. And he wrote How to Be Homeless.
How to be homeless. Okay.
He thought that this was needed, because he noticed, and he said that the first thing, the reason that I'm writing this, he said, was because there's a problem. First of all, it's getting very crowded out here lately. And the reason is not because it's crowded. He said the problem is that the newbies coming out, and he was talking about the present day newbies. The problem with these newbies is they are totally unprepared to be homeless. So this book, these books
I see.
are for these people that I
like
that.
We could all use that advice.
And that's in that's called the Loopholes Dossier, and it's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and wherever books are sold. You can order it.
Okay.
And
your stories have been awesome. And you said you have the other book coming out that's.
Oh, the other book is called That Guy. And that guy is because everybody says to me, oh, you're that guy, from Old Joe. You're the guy from, you're that guy from Seinfeld. So I thought that guy, and it's the stories about me in show business. And I looked at show business. When I was in show business, I treated show business like I'm treating you guys. Like show business was a big joke.
Garbage.
No,
They had no talent.
No, that I just, I didn't give them the right answers. I would just give them answers.
That's
I would
exactly
just
what we
give
want.
them roles. I would just say, hey, you want to do Old Joe? And I'd say, yeah, here's my Old Joe. I didn't give them what they wrote. As a matter of fact, Bill Hader, when I did Stovka on Barry.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't talk. He talked to me off camera. How you doing? Blah blah. We knew each other's work, and I loved his work. I just was a fan of his. But when he directed me in the show that he wrote and directed and was in, when he directed me, he never spoke to me ever. We shot an entire day, this scene. And he never said anything. He gave the other actor directions. He directed the other people. He spoke to them, hey, do this, do that. But he never spoke to me. So at the end of the day, before I left, I went over to him and said, can I ask you a question? And he goes, yeah, sure, Larry. I go, we were working a whole day, and I didn't know how to do this part. So he said, you never helped me. You never gave me any direction. You never asked me any questions. You never told me anything. Why? Because I could have used your help, man. I was out there hanging out, just hanging. Why didn't you talk to me? And he said, wow, that's really interesting. And his partner was with him. His partner directs with him.
Yeah.
He said, me and my partner were watching you. Now, we wrote this part, but we didn't write it the way you were doing it. So we didn't know what to tell you because we didn't know where you were coming from. But it was great, Larry.
Yeah,
it was really great. And we didn't want to disturb you or pull you out of your zone. Yeah. So we just stood and watched. And it was great. And I said, oh, okay, thanks. So, and that was the last thing I ever did. And then I quit show business. I just quit. I did. I swear to God.
Done.
That's what I did. I called. I said, I'm done, man. I'm going out on top. Because finally somebody understood what I was doing the entire 40 years I was in show business. And I just treated the whole thing like it was, I was a lifeguard. That was a joke too, and I have stories about that. I can't take anything seriously, man.
Yeah.
It's just very hard because they're so intent. I mean, like when I did, you can cut all this stuff out. This
is interesting.
When I did Seinfeld, and I had to imitate Kramer, and I wanted to do that part because I thought, he was my friend. I mean, we knew each other.
Yeah,
Michael Richards, because we auditioned for the same things. We're tall, funny guys,
Yeah.
So we talked before going into the audition. So he recommended me for that part. He said, well, if you want somebody to imitate me, get Larry Hankin. I mean, we're buddies. We've known each other for years. So that's why they hired me. So I didn't, I auditioned. That's another thing. So when I went to do the part, to film it, and I wanted to do it for two reasons. One, I wanted to, it was such a great character that he invented that I just wanted to get a hold of it and just send it up, again, to just make fun of it.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to work with Larry David. So that's why I wanted the part, to meet Larry David. So, okay, so there I am. I'm doing the thing. Now, I noticed one thing. Because it was a two-parter, they didn't do it in front of an audience. So there was no audience, so anybody could come and watch, just stand around, like making a movie. There's no audience. So that was the difference, and that's why I could do whatever I wanted. There was no audience to judge, you're not getting laughs, you are getting laughs. I just did it, and they all bought it. But we filmed it over 4 days or so. We'd come, because we had all the time, no audience, and you'd have to come in and out. But every time I did my scene, right before I did my scene, because they filmed everybody, a bunch of suits, I call them suits, came
Gerard,
down.
like Gerard.
Gerard. No, they were CEOs. They were from upstairs. They were producers. They were the green light people.
Yeah.
But they never came down to watch Seinfeld or the other guest star or anything like that. But right before, as they were setting up my scene, 3 to 4 would just walk in, and they were ushered in because they were producers. I mean, everybody, obeisance to them. They stood out, they had suits on, and they stood and they crossed their arms in front of their chest, like judging.
Nice.
And they stand there at the edge of the set, and they never spoke to anybody. They just waited. And then I did my scene. I didn't pay any attention to them. I mean, you can't when you're an actor. You got to just do your thing.
Okay, yeah.
So I just did my thing, and then when I finished the scene and I looked up, I saw they were leaving. And every day, around the same time, but if they changed the order or something, somebody would phone up and say, "Tell them to wait. We changed Larry's scene." Or they didn't say Larry. They said they changed the
Tom
Kramer
Pepper.
scene. The Tom Pepper scene. And then they would come down. So after this was over, and when I was leaving again, I had a question. I went over to I don't know who it was. Oh, I guess an AD, somebody neutral. I mean, I don't want to ask anybody important. They just lie. So I said, they do. They just lie. So you're great. Yeah, we love you. So I went on. I said, look, do you see the 3 guys come and they make you with them? Oh, so yeah, they're from upstairs. They come down to watch your scene. I said, why? He said, well, and this is what he said, man. He said because other people ask too, because it never happened.
They didn't normally do that, right?
They didn't normally do that, so that was going around, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He said, they said that Kramer, the character Kramer, was a monetizing character, that he was a money character, and that they wanted to make sure that Larry Hankin, that actor, didn't fuck it up.
Wow.
And that's why they were there, to guard the character of
the
Kramer.
franchise. Yeah,
The franchise.
Yeah.
That was it, to guard the franchise.
Yeah.
That's why and I thought, that blew my mind, man.
Yeah.
And so I thought, I'm on the right
Pat
track.
on your back, right?
No, it wasn't a pat on my back. It was a pat on my back.
It was a backhanded.
Hey, man. Yeah, right. Oh, I didn't get fired.
Well, you could be so good that you ruined something that we've been building for however many years it's been.
Every week.
There's no way I can be. There's no way I can be bad. There's no fucking way. Come on.
Every week I talk about firing Mark from the show, and he just keeps.
Yeah, right. And he just. So what it did is it proved to me that my attitude towards show business is right the on.
Yeah.
And I just refused to play that. Well, no, in the beginning I did. Until you learn, oh, I get it. So I auditioned until I go, wait a minute, I don't want to audition. Can I change this? No. I can say it funnier. Say it the way it's written. And then one day, yeah, can I change it? Oh, sure. Oh, a bump up. I'm there. I've answered the phone. I can do it. And that's what woke me up. Yeah, woke. That's what said, oh, I get it. So you have to prove yourself in some way that this guy doesn't know.
Yep.
That when he said, yeah, sure, you can change it. He has no idea why he said, I can change it. It's just that, yeah, Larry can change it now. I don't know, word is out. I don't know where we got that from. It told me that I could change it. Well, and then from there on in, I could change it.
Yeah.
Nobody said, I didn't have to ask. I just changed it.
Yeah.
I walk up and I say, hey, I want to change this line. Yeah, okay, fine.
We would bring this guy and he's going to...
Oh, yeah, well, you don't have to audition. So once you don't have to audition, first they say, yeah, you can change that.
Yeah.
Then the next bump up is, hey, they just want you. Do I have to audition? No. Oh, another bump up.
Well, so in other
words, it's there. Well, when Bill Hader said, I see I'm on the edge. I'm on the cusp of old.
I would think that you're
from older to old. I'm older.
Yeah, but you're so well known. You know what you're getting. What you're getting when you hire Larry Hankin. I think.
Yeah. So when Bill Hader said, we didn't know what you were doing and it was great. I said, oh, that's the final bump up. Okay, yeah. I can leave now.
I did my own thing.
Gold ring. I was on the merry-go-round. I got a gold ring. Thank you. Because now it's just doing the same thing over and over again. And you get more lines. You become more famous. And I'm dyslexic. So the more lines you give me, the harder it is to remember. And the more lines, more time I have to take to remember getting more money. Well, that's a game, man. Forget it. Okay,
thank you.
I got to go.
Larry, thank you so much.
I have to run to the bathroom.
Produced by Elon Musk. Theme song by Mega Yellox. Email Mooga and
Talking
Sisko.
without me?
I'm doing the end. Email Mooga and Sisko at gmail.com. Instagram and Twitter, the Magroom Pod. Thanks to everyone who emails and likes and subscribes. Everything. So thank you again to Larry Hankin. And please visit his website, read his book, and we will see you next time.
Ooh, ooh, I like my groom. I like my groom. Ooh, ooh, my groom is good. My groom is good. Ooh, ooh, I like my groom. I like my groom. Ooh, ooh, my groom is good. My groom is good. The my groom's good. Ooh, ooh, I like my groom. I like my groom. Ooh, ooh, my groom is good. My groom is good.
Stick with the Mad Room and everything else will be cream cheese.